G7 and the H, G7 and the H, G0 DUB, over. G0 DUB, G7 and the H, afternoon, over. G0 DUB, sure you were in the room before I was, so you should have streaming video from me now, over. Yeah, G7 and the H, yeah, all okay, no problem, ready to go, over. Okay, thanks for that. G0 DB, that's the number. CQ RAYNET. This is G4NRC, Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock local time, and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment and exchange traffic, news, opinions and information. Additional information and announcements are available on the RAYNET-UK website, which can be found at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means that all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you're instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you wish to leave immediately after subsequent turns, then please make it very clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll pause, repeat what I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please do try again, and I will be calling for any strays at the end of all the UK stations, so if you miss your turn, don't worry, there will be other opportunities to call in. I'll now begin taking check-ins for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net, as usual in call sign number order, starting with calls with figure 8 and their call sign, please. Go ahead now. G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G8, Golf 8, Kilo, and Lima Charlie. Name's Phil. In and out, please, Greg, but we'll probably listen up to the church notices.
Golf 8, Echo Yankee, name is Mike.
For NRC has got Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie. Okay, thanks Phil, copied you in and out. And Golf 8 Echo Yankee, good afternoon Mike. Any other rates please, G4 NRC, over.
G8 and G2J, name Ray, in and out.
G4 and RC, slightly doubled with, but still got Ray, Golf 8 Golf Quebec Juliet. Good afternoon, Ray, and copy to you in and out. After that long pause, then we'll try for any 7. Stations figure 7 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. G78, got 7 November, Echo Hotel Grove. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Red. G4 and RC, Scott Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel. Good afternoon, Graham, and thanks for running the stream today. And good afternoon today, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so we'll go into the 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo, in and out, please, Greg. November Yankee India, Alan, in and out, please, Greg.
G4 and RC's got Chris, Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, and Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India. Good afternoon to you both, and acknowledge you both in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so we'll have our usual single call for any 5s. Any 5s at the net today, please call in now. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, really should check how many 5s we've actually got in the network as a whole at some point, but I think we're still less than 5 of them. So after 5s and 4s, stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G4KUJ, Trevor.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Trevor, G4KUJ, and thanks for assisting with the logging today. Any other 4s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so we'll try for 3s. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, second call, any stations figure 3 in their call sign, go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing from the 3s, so down to the 2s. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, please. Does include the intermediates. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, second call for any stations figure 2 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, no twos, so we'll go for ones. Stations figure 1 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Better make it in and out, because the other radio hasn't quite woken up yet.
G4 and RC's got Peter, Golf Mike 1 X-Ray Echo Alpha, and acknowledged in and out since Red Cross hasn't woken up yet, and the radio sense at least. Okay, thanks Peter. Any other ones, please? G4 and RC, over. That's a no, so we're going for the zeros. Splitting them into Mike zeros first. Mike zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead now. G4 and RC, over.
Mike 0, Tango, Golf Charlie, David, East Devon, in and out, please, Greg.
For NRC, this is Mike 0 India Lima Whiskey, down in Cornwall, name is Andy.
Mike 0 Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Shirley, also in Cornwall, in and out, thank you.
Mike 0 India Tango Mike, Andy, also in Cornwall, in and out, Greg, please, thank you. And can I just acknowledge Andy, Mike 0 India Lima Whiskey. We have been in discussion with his Greg about getting onto the net, and Andy, I'm pleased that you made it. Thank you very much, Greg.
For NRC returning, right, the usual crop there. Let's go. Thank you to David, Mike 0 Tango Golf Charlie. Can see you're also prowling around the log as well. Copied you in and out. Andy, Mike 0 India Lima Whiskey, welcome to the net. And also for Andy's benefit, we have got, I think, 3 additional stations from Cornwall signed up recently, so it's certainly growing in your area. So then we've got Mike 0 Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Mike 0 India Tango, Mike, Shirley and Andy respectively, copied in and out. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead now, over.
Yeah, I'm 0 JSI, Alan, in and out, please, this week, please.
G4 and RC's got Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, and copied you in and out, and it was better audio that time than your first call in the middle of the ones. 1% packet loss though. Okay, I was going to the Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please go ahead now, over. G4 and RC, second call for any Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's try for any UK stations, who missed their turn on the call-in, who want to call in now. Please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, no strays, so we finish with our usual call for any international liaison stations, usually Nordsam Band of Norway or Arran in the Republic of Ireland. Please call now. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, no international liaisons either. Okay, good afternoon all. The net today is live streamed by Graham, G7NEH, on YouTube as an experiment today. Live stream and recording is available by searching G7NEH, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on youtube.com. Need to note that coming events are going to cause some disruption to nets and streaming, especially next weekend when Graham and I are likely to be delayed by the Chester Marathon, which should have a cut-off for runners at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But by the time we've taken down, by the time we got rid of the last runner, and then taken down talk-through stations and control stations, the odds of being back in time for 4 o'clock are a bit thin. So I'll be looking for some assistance from some of my colleagues to run the nets next Sunday if necessary, and streaming might, since it is an experiment, just have a bit of a skip next week as an event takes priority. I'll also have to leave somewhere between 16:30 and 16:45 today due to the restart of the basketball season, so we'll have a net controller changeover where hopefully Trevor G4KUJ will take over for the second round, or what's left of the second round. We're running at about 14 stations checked in today, which is a little light compared to the 1% of RAYNET membership that we normally have on. But the only thing to report this week, or talking point, is that we had a good meeting yesterday with other countries on the IARU Region 1 Emergency Comms Coordinators Forum, with a special focus on how to deal with loss of power incidents. And as groups, we probably ask our members whether stations have emergency power and maybe even how long would it last. But the South African experience of dealing with outages at the moment, where they're without power for anything from 6 to 8 hours a day, they posed an extra question, which is how long would it take you to recharge your batteries, having had some experience that it takes a lot longer to charge them up than flatten them. So that's the talking point for the first round, and we start with Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EY. Good afternoon all. Not another weather here in Norfolk. It's 16 degrees centigrade, 1016 millibars, 25% cloud cover, and 11 miles per hour wind from 286 degrees. Although it's planned to get a bit draftier after that. Had a fair flurry of seasonal flood alerts a week or so ago, but no activity came as a result, so we seem to go away with there. Interesting discussions on power sustainability. As there's not been much activity, I've been beavering away, making a couple of 50 amp hour lithium ion phosphate battery packs with charging by mains or solar panel. For the purposes they're going to be used, if and when, hopefully going to get up to around about 24 hours operation between charges, and recharge depends on the amount of sunlight or the amount of mains, maybe about 12 hours to recharge, so it's not too bad. But certainly kept me busy, and also emptied the bank balance a bit. From G8 EY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC returning. Okay, thanks for that. And yes, you highlight an issue anybody with solar recharge is going to find that it takes the sun to shine to make things happen. The South African experience, because their outages tend to be in 2-hour or 4-hour chunks rather than the 3 planning assumptions we have for chunks of outage. But over time, you discharge your batteries, you get a few little bits of recharge, and then another dose of discharge, and over time, the batteries were just slowly fading out. So, very interesting experience from them. I will let everybody know in due course how my not cheap emergency power solution is going to work when it arrives. Okay, thanks, Mike, for that one. Next to Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4 RC, over. G4NRC, G78 returning. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all on the net. Yeah, we're on a live stream today. I'm just going to quick tweet out on the Facebook group, RAYNET-UK Facebook group as well. And I haven't got this actually, I've got my own held in my hand, and I can't use the mouse, I can't use the mouse, so it's handed. So I think we've currently got, we've got 3 viewers and have 8 in total. And chat is open as well if anybody wants to use that. Battery power, yeah, I tend to keep all my handhelds charged up, so they're all ready to go. And I've got a home-built lithium iron phosphate 10 ampere hour pack, which is fine for QRP stuff, and that's ready to go, and that can be charged on solar if we're out and about. So yeah, back to you, G4NRC, G7AH. G7AH, G4NRC returning. Okay, interesting thing that struck me with the handheld batteries, because I've not used it for a long, long time once we switched to using the DMR handheld, is that the handheld chargers normally take more like 10 hours to do a recharge. They weren't fast, they were definitely slow chargers. So I had a different charger which would do fast charge with temperature control on the nickel metal hydride packs. Hasn't been used for ages. It'd be interesting to see how well it resurrects some of the cells I've got and how quickly it could top things back up again. But this is why we generally all seem to keep at least one spare battery, if not 2, just to get through a normal event. But for sustained use, we'd start to hit some fun. Okay, thanks. We'll come back more on that one. Next to Dave, M7AVO, who is finishing his building work and got a few more stations available. Down to you, Dave. M7AVO, G0D, G4NRC.
G4NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, as you say, we've managed to connect back the 2-litre down 70 and the HF vertical over the weekend. Building work is nearly complete, but a slight change of plan how we're going to route the coax, but it's in and up and running, tested, and all seems to be working well. As for the power, I again have a small lithium phosphate battery, which at the moment I only have a 240 volt charger for, and I am looking at getting some sort of solar panel and some charge controller, which I think perhaps we can get heads together between myself and Graham and yourself and see what's available or what we can build on a budget, shall we say. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC returning. Yes, we probably do need a chat, if nothing else, because I've probably got some spare panels around here. I've looked at little units. I'm looking for anybody watching on camera. I'm gazing intently to the retirement project pile over to my right-hand side and failing to find it. Amazon was selling small modules for charging lead-acid cells off solar or any other route, which I have been playing with and used to charge my lithium batteries. They're only a tenner for the little module to do the charge. What I'm thinking of, though, is that the output voltage needs to go up, because depending on what I read on the lithium charging, some say, yes, you can charge it with a regular lead-acid charger, just be careful. And the cells themselves say they actually want 14.8 volts to charge. So yes, we probably have got something that we can play with, and it'll be a useful play as well for Graham and my own benefit and the tech team head on for what works best. So yes, we will have something to hand and sort you out, Dave. Okay, next for any further observations on yesterday's meeting, which Trevor represented the UK at, is round to G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Okay, good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else. Yes, yesterday's meeting was very good, and as you say, a lot of useful bits of information on how different organisations are intending to look at cope with power loss, and also some tips from particularly South Africa, which weren't immediately obvious, as you mentioned. At this end, the QA100 dish is now firmly mounted on a permanent bracket rather than a heavy umbrella stand, so that's good. The only other thing I've done since I was last on the net, you mentioned before that the audio is a bit lively. I've turned the mic gain down a couple of notches. I wonder if that's more in keeping with our stations now, Greg. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
AUJ, G4NRC returning. Our first game is yes, turning the mic gain down a couple of notches has helped because I didn't immediately go reaching for the volume control to whack it off before you came on air. So that worked, Trevor. Sounds a little bit distorted to me today, though, but I'll let other stations with more musical ears comment on what they think of your audio at the moment. But I do think it's less hot audio than it has been in previous weeks. Okay, last station on the list to call in on this return is Andy, Mike 0, India Lima Whiskey, G4NRC, over.
Greg and all, good afternoon. Nice to be back from Cornwall. As far as the comms from Trevor, it's to my old ears. It is very slightly distorted, but still perfectly readable. However, what that counts for, I'm not sure, because my old ear trumpets aren't quite what they used to be. As far as batteries go, I've got 3 handsets which would require recharging. So that's a mains job. But I have got a lamping battery which I could use to recharge them in the interim. But the thing weighs about half that of the car battery, so I have to lug that around as well. For lighter things, I have got a Maxoak 185 watt lithium polymer battery which I use for my roaming 5-star setup with my 4G dongle plugged into it. That in extremis could be used again. However, at the end of the day, both of those would still need recharging themselves, so that would require some planning if we were in some serious situation that required us to be out for any extended length of time. Other than that, the larger battery can also be used to power up my in-vehicle radio as well, as it's a 12-volt one. So as far as batteries is concerned and charging, that's it for now for me. Back in the round afterwards. So, Greg, back to you from Mike 0 and Lima Whiskey.
Mike 0 India Lima Whiskey, G4NRC returning. Okay, thanks. Good point there. I've never seen many people explore this one. The external lithium power banks that would keep hotspots and things going, and the little portable power banks, for those in the camera, roughly in my face. Some of the power banks come with USB-C outputs now, which will give 12 volts out at up to 1.5 amps. And what some operators were doing across the States was getting appropriate power leads made up and devices that would tell the USB-C interface to spit out some 12 volts at the appropriate current, and then use that onto some Anderson power poles to charge things up, or drive radios full stop. So it just sounds a little bit limited, 12 volts, 1.5 amps, but that will be more than enough to run a handheld for a while as a more readily available power bank and power supply. Right, we're actually doing reasonably well for time, so I'm thinking a second round might not take me beyond my curfew time. We'll just see any other stations waiting to join the RAYNET-UK activity period on talk groups 23531 and 23531. Please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Chris. Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile. Bit of background noise on your signal. I'm not going to guess how many miles per hour you're doing, but good afternoon, Chris. I wonder how long you've been listening. Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile, G4 and RC, over.
Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile. I've only been here Wigan for about 5 or 10. Unfortunately, I had to do a collection from an exhibition centre at 1600, so I couldn't get on. That was at the Farnborough? Yeah, Farnborough International Exhibition Centre. So now heading back to my GTH in Ipswich, but I was G4 NRC.
Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Chris, and yeah, understood you've been for about 5 minutes or so listening, and you've been doing your pickup, and you're heading back to Ipswich. I'm going to guess it was the mobile network that dropped from presumably the hotspot in your car, because you are coming in on a hotspot. But the mobile network that's doing the backhaul dropped out because we lost everything after Ipswich until you handed it back to me. So we'll catch up on that, maybe second round, look for that gap. But I'm going to chance it and see if I can go once more around the list. If anybody's got any other comments about power supplies and otherwise, Graham's fired something through from the comments in the YouTube stream, which I'll also have to read in a moment. And then we'll see if we can close the net. So any finals, any thoughts about how prepared people think we are after that? Is it that snap poll? G8 EEY, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. Well, there's always the ultimate backup of petrol generator. Expensive to run these days if you have to go for the synthetic fuels. My generators are fairly elderly, so I suspect I probably wouldn't be able to use this new E10 fuel. Otherwise, the only thought that crosses my mind, and I haven't solved it yet, is with solar panels outside, anything of a significant size, how do you nail it down because of the wind? It might be sunny, but it could be windy. From G8 EEY.
Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Yes, this looks so bad in the log when I write down solar panels bring wind issues, but I'm sure I'll know what I meant later. Yes, and to mount solar panels properly, you need some ventilation underneath them to stop them getting too hot. So it almost encourages the wind to get underneath them and lift them off. I have not thought too hard about a solar panel I've just bought for allegedly portable use because it's heavy, it's big, it is 400 watts though, but it's quite a size. It will be a challenge to nail it down in high winds. But maybe where you compromise and just put the thing flat on the ground and nail it down. and just barrier around it for anybody walking across the thing. But Graham and Dave will see this toy when it arrives, and we'll figure out how useful we can make it. But yeah, good call, and likewise petrol generators is ultimate, but as we've discussed on earlier nets, how do you get the petrol out of the ground if we have a wide area power outage? Unless you've got your petrol stored, we have Bell, or you use that long life stuff that Trevor's mentioned on earlier nets, then keeping those topped up would be challenges in some scenarios. Okay, thanks Mike. I probably won't be talking to you next week, but hopefully somebody will. Next to Graham, G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G7NEH, returning, yeah, okay. Not much to add really from this end. As regards battery power, as you know, I'm looking into possibly getting something like a Jackery or I just haven't quite decided yet. But there we go. Yeah, so nothing else. We will somehow live stream the net next week. Even if it's done through my mobile, it'll be an interesting experiment actually. So we'll have a go. So with that, that's you. G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC. Yeah, okay, Graham. Yeah, we have discussed that about may stream via mobile next week. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing how that works. I do think you will get off your point at the talk through faster than I'll get away from control. Just noting the comment you sent through from Alan Baker, who's got 410 amp hour batteries, which will keep him running for 40 hours, but with a 15-hour recharge. I think the game may be to not let them run for the full 40, but charge when you can, however you can, from whatever you can. And stop things getting too flat. So, yeah, all good stuff going on the YouTube chats as well. Okay, thanks, Graham. Talk to you soon, and need to talk to you this week anyway. Actually, Graham and Dave are looking at Thursday for a pre-meet online ahead of the Chester Marathon next Sunday. There's been no briefing notes set out yet because I'm a bit fraught for where to put people. So Dave, I'll invite everybody, even though I know you're not available, just so you can chip in if you feel like it. M7AVO in the group G4NRC, over.
G4NRC. Right, 7 Alpha Tracker. Yeah, no problem with that, Greg. I'll await your meeting instructions for next week. Shouldn't be a problem any night with myself. But nothing more to add this end. And as I say, we'll catch up. And if not, I'll catch you on the local net the week after if you're not available for Sunday's DMR. Back to you, Mike. 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
M7AVO, G4NRC. Yeah, okay, Dave. Yeah, we will certainly catch up on the 5th, if nothing else, for the debrief of the marathon. Okay, round 2, Trevor. We only have 2 stations to go after that. G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Yeah, afternoon. Not afternoon. Okay, well, thanks for the audio report. Perhaps I was a bit close to the microphone, and the voice is a bit croaky today, but I did notice that I think my VER into the hotspot was 3%, so that may have been contributing a wee bit. I need to have a look at that. On the power front, which I didn't comment on last time, I've got a 110 amp hour AGM leisure battery, which is the one that usually sits in the car if we're out portable. In shack, I have got 44 amp hour gel cell batteries, which are connected to one of the West Mountain radio units, which has a power supply on one side and float charges the battery and automatically switches over if the mains fails. And I've got a couple of 22 amp hour cell cells which are sort of portable for use wherever. But all those at the moment are mains charged. So that's me done. Not sure about next week like you, Greg, so we'll play that by ear during the week. G4 NRC, G4KUJ.
Sorry, the system was a bit slow to pick up then. G4KUJ, G4NRC returning. Yeah, all copied, and the West Mountain Radio Diode switchover pack, whose name I should remember but can't, because I've got one too. I'm just finding a little fun with mine at the moment, but it's not screaming too loudly. My gel cell battery is not in the best of life at the moment as the backup battery on the HF station. And there's been a couple of times where it will fail from mains to gel, and then the gel won't give enough voltage out, so I'm putting only 5 watts out on HF rather than the 100. And somehow it's getting into a state where it'll transmit QRP, but not squeal to say that the voltage has gone too low, which is disruptive. Okay, thanks for that. Yes, we will definitely have to see how next week goes and make a decision before Wednesday, Thursday, who's doing what. Okay, next to Andy. Mike 0, India Lima Whiskey, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from Mike 0, India Lima Whiskey. Final thing on batteries, my polymer pack is a 50,000 milliampere hours, which I tend not to test by sticking my tongue across, but it does actually have the 3 separate outlets you discussed earlier. It will do 20 volts, 12 and 5, so that's quite useful. The only other thing of note is apparently our local power station was sabotaged last week when they found traces of Horlicks and the donkey. Other than that, post the passing of Her Majesty the Queen, Cornwall, as you know, is now under new ownership, proposed to bring in buy sale, so hopefully we'll see how that goes. Anyway, back to G4NRC from Mike 0 and India Lima Whiskey.
The Elite Whiskey, G4NRC. Yeah, smile on the face from the comment about the donkey. It reminds me of a story Ronnie Cohen told at one of the RAYNET AGMs about him teasing some power company about his power supply on one of the Scottish Islands, which was the cow. And they weren't keen on having wind or solar because that meant the cow would have no job. But hey, never mind. Okay, thanks Andy, good to hear you again. We finish off today with Chris Mobile and see how well his system's going and see what we missed last time round. Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile, G4NRC, over.
NRC M7.
Mike 7, Charlie Bravo X-Ray Mobile, G4NRC returning. Chris, as your mobile, the mobile backhaul must be getting a bit thrashed because that was up to 50%, over 50% packet loss on those a couple of transmissions I heard from you. I'm going to need to pull the net to a close now, at least as far as I'm concerned, but if anybody else wants to stay and just listen for Chris, if he gets to a point where a mobile network is a bit better, certainly those stations that we've had using DMR via a hotspot, via a mobile network backhaul from their cars, always seem to have a few issues while truly mobile. Static mobile is fine, but whether it's the cell handover or something that goes on about the speed we're doing. Not a great idea, but it's not always been successful. But thanks for trying, Chris, and hopefully post-net somebody will stay listening for you, giving any further reports as required. As I'm afraid do need to close the net at this time as far as I'm concerned. Thanks everybody who's taken time out today to check into the net. It's been a good information share, nice little straw poll of who's got what, and some of the comments about recharge times were very valuable indeed. So be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, hopefully somebody else will be G4NRC. I'll now close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net and revert the network away from being a directed net back to being an open net. Thanks all, 7-3s. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0, Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye-bye.